Hello everyone, it's me Jamie and welcome back to my channel and welcome to the next part of me converting this project into tent stitch. This is the chart Game of Thrones, which is charted by Tilton Crafts and is no longer available. And I started this chart on 28 count, 1/1 full cross. I do not really like doing full cross just because it's slower and I have so many projects that I want to be able to get more done in a quicker amount of time. So I am switching to 2/1 tent stitch, and that is what I'm going to be doing today. And I am also going to be trying to go back to stitching diagonally. I originally started this chart diagonally and then I have went off of the diagonals, but I'm going to try and get back into it. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to be starting up here with this color and using 2 strands now. And I start my threads with a loop start from the front. So you do it like a normal loop start, but you just do it from the front. But then you bring the needle back down in the hole where your loop was, and then it pushes the loop onto the back of your fabric. So for stitching diagonally, for people who don't know, I first saw diagonal stitching from Karen Needlebug, I think was who it was. And it's easier with Pattern Keeper because Pattern Keeper will put in diagonal lines for you, so you don't have to think about the diagonal or anything. It's just shown right on Pattern Keeper, which is very nice and convenient. And I like to do 20 stitch wide diagonals. I think like the default setting on Pattern Keeper is to do 10 stitch wides, but then you can set it to 20 stitch if you want, and then it puts the diagonal line every 20 stitches instead of 10. And then I normally like to cross-country stitch within the diagonal. So I'll take one color, stitch it down the diagonal, and then pick another color and then stitch it down. I'm not like a strict person when it comes to diagonals. Like I'm not someone where I do like line by line, just because that would be a lot slower, and I usually like to try and I stitch for speed just because I do have quite a bit of stitching time because my kids are all in school now. But I want to make sure too that I just get as much done in the time that I have to stitch, if that makes sense. And so I will stitch cross country throughout the block, but then I will park. So like if I'm stitching a color and it starts to get farther apart where I would have to count farther away, I don't like to waste time counting out where the stitches are, and so I'll usually park the thread once the stitches start getting farther apart, and then I'll fill in the area with some of the other colors, and then once the area is more filled in, then I will do my parked threads so that I don't have to count as much because I can go based off of the area that's stitched in around it. This area that I'm stitching right now is pretty easy in terms of like I don't have to count a lot or look at the chart because most of the area is filled in here, and I'm going to be filling it in mostly with this color I'm stitching, which is 3799, which is really nice to be able to just not have to really count and just fill in the empty stitches. Alright, so far I have done this color here, and I'm trying to see if you can really see a difference, and so far I'm not really seeing a huge difference. But my plan is I want to stitch in this diagonal here, doing tent stitch, and then compare it to this part up here, just to see like if it's going to be a lot thicker, because tenting with 2 strands ends up kind of being thicker than 1 strand of stitching, so that's what I really want to see, if there's going to be a big thickness issue. So I'm going to keep stitching and then we'll see how it ends up looking. Alright, so I decided to skip ahead and do a little bit more stitching while not recording, just because I can stitch faster when there's not a camera in my way, because I really want to get this area stitched in so that you can fully see what it looks like. So I finished this gray here, and I am going to be switching to a purple DMC 550. We love the color 550, a nice purple. So I'm going to be getting that out, and I'm going to be filling in the area with DMC 550, and then I will be back to show how that area looks stitched and filled in, and then I will fill in, I think the 550 will take me, where will that go? It's mostly like in this area right here, and then this area down here is a different color, I think, so I will be back to show what it looks like after the 550. I will zoom in to show what the area looks like right now, stitched in with the 3799, and I think that it looks pretty good. You can't really tell a huge difference, I don't think, but like I said, I'm going to stitch the purple in, and then we'll be able to do a better test against this area that is full cross, and then this area that is filled in with the tent stitch. So I'll be back with that update. Alright, so I have finished stitching in the DMC 550 in that area, and so now it gives you a better look at what the filled in tent stitch looks like next to the 1/1 full cross here. Tent stitch is here. I'm trying to get it as close as possible without there being weird shadows, but I don't see a huge difference. And running my hand over it, you don't really, I'm not feeling like a line where it's like this is thick and this is not, you know what I mean? I'm not feeling any major differences. Let's get it from a different angle. Let's see, there we go. So yeah, I'm not seeing too many differences. I'm going to keep stitching on this diagonal though, so that we can show you the finished diagonal, and we will check back in with you then. Hello everyone, I am back, and here is the diagonal finished, and this is like the whole piece that I've stitched so far, just to see the comparison between the diagonal here and the full crosses. And I also did some of the tent stitches in his hair because they were part of the diagonal that I was working on, so I came back up here and did that. I also did, there was some spots up here that I hadn't done the stitches, so I did those in tent. And I don't think you can really tell, so let's get up close to like his hair where there are some tent stitches. If you get up really close you can see where they are, but from far away you're not going to notice very much, I don't think, especially because this is only like 6% of the chart. So I haven't done that much of the chart, and so over time eventually it will be mostly tent, and you know, no one I think is going to be getting up this close to my work and being like, I noticed you switched. But yeah, so you can kind of see, so up here, whoa, is where the tent stitches kind of started into this area. You can kind of tell up close where they are. This is up close of this bottom area where I did tent stitch here. This is the tent. Here is the 1/1 full cross, just so you can see up close and personal how it looks. Once you get an area filled in with the tent stitches, they do blend in better. If there's only like a few tent stitches like spread out, you can tell easier because you're just seeing like the one diagonal that it's not a full cross, but once the area is filled in, you can't tell as much. So I'm going to keep going with it, especially just because it's a lot quicker. I think I did not 200, I think I did like 700 stitches on this chart in a pretty short amount of time to filling in this diagonal, and so to me that is worth it because I like to see progress on things. I do enjoy like the stitching process, but I do like to see progress on what I'm working on. So I will be continuing switching this one over to tent, and I'm also considering switching one of my 18 counts charts from full cross to tent. So I'm doing Dear Alice on 18 count 2/1 full cross right now, and I'm considering switching it to 4/1 tent stitch just because then I can hopefully get it done faster. I really want to see that one stitched up because I've seen other people stitch it before and it looks amazing, and so if I can stitch faster on it, that is a plus in my book. And yeah, so thank you everyone for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I hope this video was helpful. I know that someone commented that they were considering switching from full cross to tent, and I hope this kind of shows you, and you can make a decision based off of this. Like I said, there's not a huge difference when you get far away. Up close, you can kind of tell, but there it is. So I will see you all in my next video, which should hopefully be an update video, possibly tomorrow. I'm not sure which day I'm going to get this video posted, so we will see how long it takes me to get this all edited together and posted. But bye everyone.